What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the RPO College Football Podcast. I'm your humble host, Jerome Jones, and you already know the man right next to me, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
Good, good. I'm excited because we got some mock draft stuff going on tonight. Hope all you guys are ready. I'm excited about this because I know everybody's mock draft. You guys don't know what's going on. So I like to kind of surprise you guys and let you guys see how the mock draft kind of went. So let me get into what happened. First and foremost, it's supposed to have been myself, Ray, and Sam. I don't know where Sam is. we can't find Sam. So if anybody knows where Sam is, hopefully he's okay. But we try to contact him and he can get on. So what we're gonna do today is it's just gonna be me and Ray, like always. It's okay, it's cool. But we are gonna reveal Sam's picks as well, and then me and Ray's gonna kind of comment on his picks. So how we did it this week? Usually we try to do a GM type of style of mock draft, where we kind of go back and forth where, Ray might have one, I might have two, I have three, blah, 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 and do it like that. Why is my hair sticking up at the top? There you go. That's how we generally do it. I decided for the first mock draft to everybody have their own mock draft and we kind of talk about it. I think this way we kind of, you can kind of see the differences of our opinion. And then the next one that we're doing, which is probably post combine, we'll do one where we're kind of going back and forth where we're kind of GMs in that sense. So mock draft 1.0, I'm super excited about it, guys. We're gonna start this in like 1 second so that I can see it. So Ray, before we start, where do you think is gonna start breaking up the draft? Like what part of the draft do you think everything's kind of go falling apart?
I think after the first two quarterbacks go, because someone will move up to try to get that third guy.
I agree.
No matter if it's Tennessee, Atlanta, Minnesota, maybe they'll try to move up into that spot and get a quarterback for the future.
Yes. So fair warning to everybody that's watching: no trades in this one. As always, we try not to do trades. I just think it's the easiest and cleanest to do with multiple people mock drafting. Now, if you was doing, individual ones, I think it'd be cool. But we're doing just us. So if anybody have any questions, drop them in the comment section. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter right now. So if you're watching right now, we got a couple of guys coming in and out. We do appreciate everybody that's checking us out. If you want to comment on how our draft is going, please do so. We will definitely talk about it. But let's get into the first pick, Ray. I think the consensus is out there. I know who you have. Who you think is the first pick of the draft?
I believe Caleb Williams will be the first pick of the draft. Quarterback from USC, which everyone knows. I'm going to assume you and Sam probably have the same pick. Now, are we sure that?
Yes. So we all have the same thing. Got the Bears getting Caleb Williams. So real quick, I don't want to go too far on the Caleb Williams thing since we all have that as the number one pick. So why do you think that Caleb Williams, or we all kind of think Caleb Williams is the first pick, knowing that they have a quarterback right now?
Because either if they decide they don't want to get rid of Justin Fields, which I believe that's what they're going to do, whoever gets that pick will take Caleb Williams, I believe.
Correct. I think this pick is literally the most loaded pick in the draft right now. It's loaded. And I don't mean it in the sense of value because it is loaded in the value. I mean in the sense of whatever you do with this pick is going to have some kind of trickle effect. If you keep it, then Justin Fields is going to go somewhere and it's going to affect the draft. If you trade it, obviously that's going to just cause a whole.
Here's the thing, though, Jerome. If they trade that pick, then you may see someone move right up into the second or third spot to get a quarterback.
Yep. But the thing is, too, you got a team at number 2 that could get a quarterback too. And since we're getting on the second pick of the draft, Washington. Now, I'm gonna say this. This is the beginning of the differences already. Second pick. Me and Sam are pretty much on the same wavelength with the first few picks. Actually, we're like, here. You did something a little bit different on this one than me and Sam. What's your thoughts on this one?
Can I ask? Well, I guess I'll find out in a minute who you guys had him picking, because I haven't taken Marvin Harrison, because I like Sam Howell a little more than maybe other people do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if you want to give Sam Howell a legit shot, put a true number 1 out there too. Because I like Terry McLaurin, but I think that Terry McLaurin as a number 2 receiver is a weapon. But as a number 1, he may be a little miscasted a little bit.
Yeah,
no. The Ohio State kid though that can do a little bit of everything and can take the top off the defense.
I hear you.
Now you're talking about a whole different aspect.
This is my thing with that, and we just revealed the picks. Ray got Marvin Harrison, me and Sam got Jaden Daniels. My thing is with Sam Howell, right? There's no Marvin Harrison on that team. There's no talent of Marvin Harrison there. I mean, you could maybe say Terry McLaurin. We'll see how that kind of goes. If Marvin Harrison will be better than him. You're right. I don't think there is one. But my issue is, it's not like that wide receiver crew is a bad wide receiver group at all. Terry McLaurin, you got the kid from Penn State. I'm blanking on his name right now. You got Curtis Samuel back there. You got Dami. You got a couple of guys in there in Washington. That receiver team is not that bad. So for me, getting that wide receiver that far up, especially in a wide receiver heavy draft, and I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is a different type of receiver. I understand that, but in a wide receiver heavy draft, to get another receiver where your team's receivers are not bad, and I think the only bad constant of that was a Sam Howell. Now, yeah, you could say, hey, Sam Howell only had one chance, 1 year. I understand that, but you're so high in a draft. I think this is your opportunity to get a guy that you want, especially that everybody in that building is almost completely new. You get what I'm saying? So that's my take on it.
And I love Jaden Daniels. I even know it's not going to seem like it because my next pick is going to lead. I actually think Jaden Daniels is my number 2 quarterback in this draft, but I do worry about him being 205 pounds at 6'3". If I didn't take Marvin Harrison here, I would have taken an offensive lineman before I would take a quarterback, because I can't have a 200-pound quarterback with a bad offensive line. And that's what you have right now in Washington, a bad offensive line.
Yes, you're right. You are right. So I like that mindset. I like that mindset. I'm not knocking.
One thing I will say about Marvin Harrison is there's no doubt he's going to be a good player.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. None in my mind. He's probably the cleanest player in this draft. I could argue he's the number 1 player in the draft. Even though it is a deep position. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He is – some people I had this argument last night. Some people think Brock Bowers is the best player in this draft. I don't think that is true. But my draft might also say otherwise. But let's get into the third pick. The third team on the clock is the Pats. And I'll tell you, Ray, we all got the same players. Drake May. So Drake May going to the Patriots. Now, I've been hearing a little bit lately that the Patriots are not going out their way to get a quarterback in this draft. I don't know if that means they're trying to get a veteran. I don't know if they're thinking about trading out. I heard that they're not dead. Like, they need to get a quarterback. That's what I heard.
That just means they're trying to get draft spots because Here's the thing. I like Jaden Daniels better than Drake May too.
Correct.
But I do think that there's something to be said about Drake May's arm talent or arm strength playing up north, which is going to be which could be important. And here's the thing, like the only reason I would tell people that if I were New England is if I'm thinking, well, I can trade down with maybe Tennessee and maybe then I can get Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me a little bit about this pick because we got a whole new person in charge right now. It's not Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is not there. He's not GMing them anymore like he usually do. And Drake May is such a Bill Belichick type of player and what I think he needs, which makes me wonder if this will even be a fit. It's kind of because, and also I don't know what Jerome Mayo is yet. You get what I'm saying? I don't know what their GM is right now. I don't know because it's been Bill Belichick for so long. Is he gonna go on that same kind of idea of a Bill? I don't know. I don't know nothing about Jared Mayo except for when he played. That's all I know. So it's gonna be an interesting situation. Like, what is his idea of a quarterback? What's his idea of how to structure this team? It was such a left turn of a hire, in my opinion. Like, I knew about Jerome Mayo. I know they looked at him very highly as a coach there in New England. I would never in my third eye, like even if you say Bill Belichick's getting fired, which I think some of us kind of like got that feeling that it was a possibility. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when you start thinking about stuff, you're like, okay, who can be in New England? I don't think I ever would have been like, Jerome Mayo's a candidate. I would never. Personally, I don't know. I'm not in New England. I don't follow the New England Patriots like most people probably are. I don't know anything about him as a coach. Ray, do you know anything? I don't.
I'm just assuming he's going to be a defense strong head coach because he played defense in the league. I was a little surprised they went defense because usually a lot of teams will go opposite of what their coach was.
Sure.
If I had a defensive guy here for a while, I'm going to go off. And usually it's back and forth between that. And what surprised, he was on the coaching staff too, which really, what I don't know is who's going to run the offense. That's the problem.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in New England. They are, and again, I hate saying this because we've grown so accustomed to what Bill Belichick does in New England because, again, they're always a team that always trade back. They'll trade back before they trade up. Mm-hmm. I don't know who they are right now. I don't know their identity. I don't know what team this is right now. I just know that this team's probably going to have a really good defense, and that's it. I don't know how they're going to react. I don't know how they feel about.
Because if you look at their team, a lot of their good players are on defense.
Correct. I don't know how they feel about their quarterbacks. Like both of them, not Sam Howell. What's the kid from Alabama again?
Mac Jones,
and what's the other guy? Zeppi.
Yeah.
Mac Jones and Zeppi. I don't know how they feel about those two guys. I feel like Bill Belichick really liked Zeppi, but he didn't really want to take him. I don't know. I really don't know, man. Let's move on because I'm having a brain aneurysm. All right, at number 4. So this is the first time in this draft that nobody had the same exact pick here. Actually, no, I like. Me and Sam have the same pick. So I'm pretty sure you can understand who this is going to be, Ray, especially how the board is going right now. But it was Ray, you picked Dallas Turner. Me and Sam got Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Cardinals. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you can't. I mean, honestly, Jerome, I took their biggest need is edge rusher. I took who I think is the best edge rusher in the draft.
Yeah.
But if Marvin Harrison was there for the 4th pick, I would absolutely think about it because then you cut bait with what's his name.
I feel like you have to, and I think.
I mean, like honestly, man, if Chicago liked Justin Fields and were to take Marvin Harrison with the 1st pick, would not would not have been a bad pick.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think this pick is a luxury pick where you're drafting so high you have to get the best player on the board.
Agreed.
And the fact that they already have another first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big factor into like, all right, like, do they need a wide receiver? Yeah, I mean, who don't, you know? But also it's like, hey, he's the best player on the board. He's there at 4. You got lucky with him being at 4, and I really do think that's a possibility with all these quarterback talks, and he's going to start.
I know it's very possible that someone, the Washington takes a quarterback or trades out of that spot, and someone else takes a quarterback,
Correct.
And then New England takes a quarterback, and then again Marvin Harrison's there. I mean, then you can't cut bait. I can't remember the wide receiver's name. There is older now. You could trade him or move on from him. DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins is there? No, Hopkins is in
Arizona.
Tennessee.
Oh, that's right, Tennessee now. That's right.
See?
Oh, that's right. They have the other kid. What's his name? Hollywood or whatever. I forget.
Brown. Hello, Brown. Yeah.
So you know what though? With Marvin Harrison though, he falls into a number 2 spot, which is exactly where he should be probably. Yeah. So yeah, if Harrison's there number 4, that's a good spot. That's a good spot.
Yeah, it's a need. It's the best player on the board. I think they have a lot of other needs, but like get your guy the wide receiver that he needs. You just paid the man. Talking about shirt guy. Excuse me.
No, well, here's the other thing though. You do need to.
Kyler Murray. Sorry.
Kyler Murray. I knew you were talking about, but that's why I don't know, Jerome. Sometimes when you talk about as many players as we do, sometimes a name will just blank out on you.
Yeah.
I knew you were talking about. I'm sure everybody who's listening knew who you were talking about too. So, but I mean, Kyler Murray has a lot to prove. Marvin Harrison could help improve it.
100%.
Sure.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Again, that's a team that has a lot of needs, but when you look at it, the scape of how the draft is going for me and Sam, and the fact that he's the best player on the board, and you still have another number 1 overall pick. I'm not overall, but number 1 first round pick. You can do something like this.
Agreed.
So, all right, at number 5. All right, so this pick, you and Sam have the same player. I have a different player. Ray, you want to reveal your player?
I have Joe Alt from Notre Dame. The offensive tackle from Notre Dame. Next to Marvin Harrison, the cleanest player in this draft.
I agree with you. I didn't pick him though. As you can see, I got Brock Bowers. Now, listen, and I know I know what you're gonna say, Ray. Maybe the fans might not think this way. I think this is the perfect opportunity to trade back for the Chargers. But I also know how Jim Harbaugh operates. Now, what you did, Ray, is very possible. Very possible. He likes his offensive lineman. I also know he likes his tight end. Very, very much. He likes his tight end. So I think that Brock Bowers will fit into this offense very, very well, especially with some aging wide receivers. I think this will give them a chance to evaluate how the receivers are going to be like without, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, because you get to, you get a tight end that can kind of spell them a little bit. A guy that's going to block on the end for you guys. I personally wouldn't pick him here at 5. I'm picking him here because I think it's a luxury pick. I think it's something Jim Harbaugh will love. I think he can trade down to the top of the teams, mid-teams, and I think that's where around the area you have Brock Bowers, Ray, just a little spoiler. But I think that Brock Bowers going to the Chargers would be a perfect fit for him.
Brock Bowers would fit on any team perfectly unless you have a stud tight end already.
I just feel like you have the quarterback. Look who's here. Look who's here, Mr. Lateness.
Sorry, Jets. Sorry, guys.
Hey, Sam, we was definitely worried about you. He was definitely worried about you.
He's trying to kick a bunch of people out of my place real quick.
He was worried about you. We had a search team looking for you. So our viewers, thank you for looking for Sam for us. We appreciate you. We found them. But we were talking about some of the picks. And Sam, I know you haven't seen some of the picks, so we're gonna do a quick rundown, and I'm gonna let you talk a little bit. So obviously the first pick, we all had Caleb Williams going number 1 overall pick. Number 2, we had me and Sam had the same person, Jalen Daniels. Ray had Marvin Harrison Jr. going to Washington. Then at number 3, again, me and Sam, actually all of us agreed that Drake May going to New England right here. We just talked about the Cardinals at number 4. Me and Sam have Marvin Harrison Jr. going there. Ray had Dallas Turner. And then we just revealed the 5th pick. And again, Sam, don't knock me for this because, again, I emphasize that if it was me, I would trade down a little bit and still get this player. But you and Ray got the same guy, Joe Alt. I picked Brock Bowers here. I think he's a great fit for this the offense. So now you're caught up. What's your thoughts on the mock draft so far? And you're muted.
Can't
Yeah, I can't unmute you, sir. All right. While he's trying to unmute himself, finish your thoughts on that.
Sorry, that ad just popped up.
Okay, cool. There you go.
I was just gonna say that's kind of just what I expected. It's hard to do. We were just talking yesterday. It's hard to do a mock draft without any trades. So take this for as you will. Kind of don't take it for, I guess, who the teams are necessarily. More focus on the position and kind of where we have them slotted, because I think that's more accurate than what team that may be in that slot, if that makes any sense.
Chris says y'all doing a mock draft without your boy. Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry, man. We're gonna get you on the next one. All right. I'll remind myself. Get you on the next one, Chris. Thanks for watching, though. For watching. But yeah, so let's get to our next one because I don't want to harper on these too long. Number 6. All right, this is gonna be the last time we agree, and we all agree on the same player. So I'm telling you, after this pick right here, it's gonna be crazy. But I'm sure Sam's happy because we all agree it's gonna be his team, which is Malik Neighbors going to the New York Giants. So Sam, I'll let you start off with this one. What is it about Malik Neighbors that's gonna help your franchise right now?
I just think he's the next X receiver other than Marvin Harrison Jr. That's kind of just where I'm at. If Marv falls to the Giants, I don't think they have much of a decision. I think he should be their pick, being that he's a true X guy where they can put him on the outside and, use their Jalen Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson in the middle of their wide receiving unit. So I think he's the perfect fit to kind of finish that offense and really give them a trio, or if you want to include Slayton in that, a group of 4 guys that are really kind of capable of playing on the outside for DJ or whoever that may be, if they use a 2nd round or a 3rd round pick on a quarterback as well, or sign someone in free agency. So I just didn't see many other places to go, especially when me and Ray put all going to the Chargers, being that I think Harbaugh's going to focus on the run game pretty heavily, and for him to have another really solid tackle with no true question marks, I think is a really good thing for Herbert to have and grow with for the next couple of years. And you're looking at a lot of these quarterbacks, they have that franchise tackle that they can really grow with and kind of rely on. And I think the Chargers could really benefit from having a guy on the outside of their offensive line that could be a real staple.
Yeah, definitely. Now, before I let Ray go, because I'm asking this question kind of to both of you, but I'm gonna let Sam take the question first. Now, the way the draft went, especially for me, Joe Alt-Delete is still there on the board. I didn't pick. He hasn't been picked yet. He'll be picked soon. Don't worry, guys. I still have him on the board. So, Sam, you had the decision to get Joe Alt-Delete or Malik Neighbors? Are you still going Malik Neighbors here?
I think I am, just based on aggressiveness and what you have done in the past couple of years, where you whiffed on a tackle already. So you're kind of you're slotting Evan Neal inside if you're drafting Joe Alt. So that has to be the plan pretty much. And you have to admit you're wrong. So I think that just probability factors and what the NFL is now, I think there's a much better chance they take a receiver who had some of the best stats in college football and, played in one of the best offenses in college football as well, in a very competitive conference where he's going against top-notch talent on the defensive end as well. Come on, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, we are only at 6. We're doing the Giants right now. So appreciate you getting on. Chargers need offensive line help. I agree with you. He said, haha, I like that. He said, Joe. No way, gotta go Joe. Joe, I'll delete. I agree. He said, no. Chris says, the Giants can't ignore the wide receiver room anymore. They need a true X receiver, plenty of offensive depth in this draft. I agree with that. Not the right pick. So, Ray, I want to know what's your opinion.
I agree with what Sam says. I think if you get a Neighbors, he's a true number one. He reminds me a lot of Jamar Chase, who also played at LSU, where he just doesn't always get clean separation, but he makes plays once the ball is in the air. Yeah. I think he could be where all these other guys, Slayton and otherwise, can kind of step in them secondary roles if they have a number one guy out there. Now, it's not going to happen right away. We know that. But it gives you a guy to build their offense around. Not only that, and we all know Daniel Jones needs help. This is help. And the thing about taking Joe Alt in this spot is he's a true left tackle. You already have that guy. You need somebody who can play out like on the right side and maybe some other spots inside. If you wanted to take a right tackle, you could do that later in the draft, really.
Definitely. No, I agree with you. I was just trying to put that out there. I didn't pick them either. None of us did. We all got Neighbors, so I wanted to know. But with that being said, let's reveal our next pick. That's going to be number 7 to the Tennessee Titans. Now, I say I did not pick Joe Alt delete and get drafted yet. I think I'm changing it here, and we all have different picks here, so I want to know what you guys think. I got Joe Alt delete. Oh, wrong one, sorry. Wrong graphic. All right, so I got Joe Alt delete. Sam got Dallas Turner right here, and Ray has Umayu.
For Shino, babe. That's what everybody else says, so it's fine.
Okay. I was gonna let Ray. I was gonna let Sam say it because he's from Penn State, so I figured he didn't want to say it.
No, that's good.
What you guys think about the picks right here? Anything kind of sticks out to you?
See, I have Sam. I already have Dallas Turner gone, but that will make sense also.
Yeah,
edge player and offensive line tackle is their biggest need. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's kind of in one of those rarity spots where in the first round where they could truly do anything besides quarterback, because I think to move off Levis this quick is kind of you're just redoing everything at that point. So I think they have a lot of flexibility with what they can do in the first round, being as early as they can be, and without trades obviously. But that's a team out circle and moving back. Hey, new coaching staff, not trying to really prove their whole lives in one pick pretty early in the draft. Maybe they, pick up an extra first and get a third, or, I think that could benefit a team like Tennessee who's trying to look to fill a couple holes,
Definitely. No, I agree. The offensive line would be a great pick. They just got the tackle from last year. Get another guy in there. Obviously, you got King Henry. Look like he might be moving on. So you need to really solidify that offensive line. Give some room for their quarterbacks from last year, which now I'm blanking on everybody's names. I can't say names right now. But, I think that building off that offensive line, I think it's going to be real good for them to, really stack up, and then they can kind of like work around that right now. They got a lot of pieces right now they need to do. They could do a couple of things in free agency, hopefully, especially that they're not going to be paying King Henry. But we'll see. He could still come back. We'll see. Maybe less point, and we'll be talking about this, after free agency and probably have another mock draft after free agency once we see where all the pieces kind of land. But I think right now, just going offensive line at the moment, shoring up the offensive line, you got two bookends right now. Either that's Fanatu or however you say his name, or a Joe Delete, which I don't think he's gonna be there. We'll see though. He could still be there. That's how my mock draft landed, but I think it's gonna be cool. So, Chris said Olu at 7 is a steal. I agree. He definitely is a steal. I think Joe right there is a steal. So, we'll definitely see for sure. All right. I think my next pick is going to shake up the draft a little bit. Actually, a lot. This is the Atlanta Falcons pick. Now, I want to preface this. I truly think at this pick is going to definitely change, because me and Ray were talking about this off screen. I really think that if the draft board starts the way I think it is, where Caleb Williams do good number 1, I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to try their best to try to get Justin Fields in Atlanta. I think that they're really going to try to do that. But if they don't, and I said this to Sam yesterday, I currently have the most quarterbacks in this draft. I got Atlanta picking a quarterback here. You guys, Ray does too. Ray got 2 different quarterbacks right here. And I don't think it's the guy that Ray or Sam thinks I'm going to pick. And we're going to show it right here. I got the Falcons getting Bo Nix. Ray has Jaden Daniels. And then Sam got Jared Verse. Ray already laughing at me. I want to hear. I'll let Ray talk.
Dude, you remember how he looked against playing against SEC talent, dude? Against SEC defenses?
Yeah.
He went out there pretty LA, West Coast, and put up some big numbers. Good for him. He's not a first-round pick, dude. He's not.
This is my thing. I think
will somebody take him in the end of the first round? They may if they're really desperate.
Look, you could have went Penix here. You could have. I think the age and his injury history, and that being they're being so high in the first round pick, will make them look elsewhere in the quarterback position unless you trade back. Again, like I said, I think it's going to be Justin Fields in the spot. If they go in quarterback here and looking at the quarterbacks here, I don't think they're going to go JJ. I think they prefer a Bo Nix over JJ. And I think a lot of GMs really like Bo Nix. And me and Sam kind of talked about this yesterday with the idea of, Bo Nix didn't have the greatest Senior Bowl, but there wasn't a lot to go around in the Senior Bowl. Even Spencer Rattler, we said it, 4 for 4, 1 touchdown, and got MVP in the game. You know what I'm saying? The Senior Bowl is not the outlier for quarterbacks, really, to be honest, especially with the rotation there. I think that a lot of GM teams are going to look at Bo Nix. It might not be this high. Get me wrong, and I'm probably getting killed in the comment section right now because I see 13 comments in here right now. But I think now 14. But I do think there's a possibility that Bo Nix will go in the first round, maybe 20-ish round range right there. I'm gonna hear from you, Sam. What do you think? You're on mute.
There's a possibility Atlanta burns down if this happens. Honestly, it's just, to me, like that's a team that you need someone they're gonna believe in, like, for the long term. And I don't know if Bo Nix is that guy incredibly, and I kind of agree that Jaden Daniels fits that franchise and fits that team a lot better than I think what Bo Nix would do. I think Bo couldn't. I don't know if Bo's gonna be ready to take on that.
Chris funny.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's not in my top 10, nor is he in my first round right now. So like I don't agree with the spot, nor do I agree with the fit. I think Atlanta would be really stretching themselves thin. I think there'd be plenty of other options for them to explore this offseason, whether that be free agency. the draft, late round. There's things you could do.
Definitely.
I think that Atlanta could be one of them teams that try to move into that second spot. I don't completely disagree with that, Chris. I mean, I wouldn't do it in the first round either way, but there is potential. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Bo Nix doesn't have potential. I'm not saying that. I'm saying potential in the first 10 picks, though. That's a fireable.
I see crazy your things. I see crazy things.
I mean, like if Atlanta comes up and all three of them quarterbacks go like you guys have them going, then trading for Justin Fields really to me is their only option.
Correct. No, and I think I do think this is like a placeholder for him there because whoever if everything plays out the way I have 3 quarterbacks in the first 3. I think in that 8, 9, 10 round, you're gonna see somebody trade in and try to get Penix, JJ, or Bo. I think it's one of those 3, and I think I'm telling you, I have a feeling that people are a little higher on Bo Nix than a lot of people think.
I'm not saying that they won't be taken in the end of the first round.
Yeah,
they could be. I wouldn't do it, but again. I understand. I have seen mock drafts where they are taking all 3 of them guys at the end of the first round. Penix.
Yeah. That's funny because Phil Yates literally just had Bo Nix in his first round mock draft yesterday. So I'm not the only one.
The end of the first round, teams will do things like that.
And to preference too, we did these mock drafts before Phil Yates did his, and I seen his yesterday. We were supposed to go on Wednesday, so these mock drafts been in before Wednesday. Just letting everybody know that it's not me just looking at Phil Yates or anything like that, but he did have Phil Yates in the first round. So just saying.
Well, teams overdraft quarterbacks every year. Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So
definitely. All right. Well. I know I just broke the internet. I apologize, guys. I broke the internet. Let's move on to the next thing.
Chris just gave you a Donald Trump. You're fired.
Yeah, he did. It's okay. I mean, listen, people down here might not like it either. I know what kind of quarterback they want or what kind of players they want. I understand. We'll see. They're still looking for that Michael Vick. I get it. But anyway,
I didn't want anything either. God.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to number 9. It's going to be Chicago's second first-round pick of this draft. And me and Sam on the same page again. Ray has a little bit different, but I don't hate it. I don't hate what Ray has at all. So the next pick right here, me and Sam have Romeo Oduzie, and Ray has Latutu Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA. What you guys think about that? Let me start with you, Ray.
I don't mind who you guys had pick. I like Latu. I think he's going to be a good player.
They down here too, Chris. Calm down.
They are again. We're both addressing needs, so it's fine either way.
Yeah. What do you think, Sam?
I really like Odunze a lot. I think he's a really good overall prospect when you're looking at the receiver position. And to me, he is a top 10 overall prospect, especially. I think him and what Jalen McMillan did at Washington speaks a lot to what Michael Penix did statistically. I think not to take all credit away from Penix, but I do think he's working with some of the best receivers in the entire country. And I think we'll see that on draft night. And it would be cool to see Chicago kind of double up like Houston did last year, getting that quarterback, then getting, their wide receiver. It'd be cool to see them do that. And hey, this is my biggest takeaway and my way I'm looking at the Chicago situation right now. If they're willing to pull the trigger on Caleb Williams, in a way, you have to give Eberflus and Brian Poles credit for being able to sticking to their guns and taking the best prospect. Because right now there's a lot of pressure for them to do otherwise, and I think it would be a really good thing for them to just, if they firmly believe that he's the guy, for them to kind of stick there and take that, and then figure out what you're going to do with Fields. Because I don't know if you're getting that quarterback that can transition send your franchise at 9.
Yeah,
kind of play off the comments here.
I agree exactly what you're saying. Chris thinks that it's going to be Melvin Harrison Jr. at number 1, and then Latu. I don't know if he's just saying that because he's an Ohio State guy, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know. But Drew says that he will take the first overall pick, trade down, take a quarterback here, and he said some other stuff. But it's a lot of fascinating things that the Bears can do. I think pairing Romeo Oduze with Caleb Williams would be fireworks. You will bring so many fans into that stadium without them even playing. So I think that will be a really good pairing for them. You already got DJ Moore. It'll be insane. I don't know if they're thinking along those lines, but you have a very explosive offense. It looks like they're unpacking on defense a little bit too. So I don't know if they're going to try to figure that out I don't know if they're going to try to figure that out during the draft or do free agency, but there's a lot of guys kind of leaving that defense. So I don't disagree with Ray has either. I really don't, especially the way his board's going. So we'll definitely see. All right, next one, another pick where me and Sam is on the same page on this pick, which is number 10, the
Jets.
Me and Sam have Fanasu, however you say his name, Olu
Fashanu.
Olu, and then Ray has Brock Bowers here, going down around the 10th pick. So, Ray, I think that you got something going here with Brock Bowers going to the Jets. What's your mindset on that, though?
If Fashanu was there,
yeah, you have a couple of picks earlier. Yeah,
I may think about that. I just think that the Jets need someone to help out with. Garrett Wilson, I think, is a number 1 receiver, or could be a number 1 receiver if he gets a little bit of help there.
Mm-hmm.
You give him a playmaker, and you can argue that, again, next to Marvin Harrison and Joe Alt, I mean, a couple of like Brock Bowers is as clean as any prospect in this draft. Mm-hmm. And the same reason why I went with edge player for the previous pick, after Bowers, the tight end class is like there's 2 guys, and then it really drops. Same thing with the edge. Mm-hmm. Edge players after the first 2 rounds really drop off drastically after that. So
definitely. No, I agree. I think that you have a certain position, running back, tight end, some of the edge rushers. It's a big drop off when you get out of that top part. I think Brock Bowers will actually fit really well in this spot. I think if he don't go to the Chargers at 5, which I picked that for this mock draft, I don't think that's a possibility. I really think the Chargers are going to trade down or get a Joe Alt, something like that. But if that does happen where Brock Bowers won't go there, I actually think he might fall into the late part of the first round. And the reason why I say this too is because you've seen what happened last year. Michael Mayer. Ray, I guess you agree. Michael Mayer
to fall out of the top 10. I absolutely am praying he does, because I would love to see him in a Dolphins uniform. It would be like the ideal pick for my offense. It absolutely would.
No,
I love it, but
I just think
he's a top 10 player, man. And if you let him fall out of the top 15, man, I mean,
yeah.
I just don't
think there's too many quarterbacks going. There's too many offensive line going. There's too many receivers going. There's so many of those premier positions that are going to be going in this draft or are regarded as high picks. I think that, there's no way I think that the top 3 quarterbacks are just the 3 and there's nobody else in the first. That's why I have so many quarterbacks coming out of this draft, honestly.
I'll be honest with you, Jerome. If I could see a team, I don't want to move on. We're done with pick 10 now. We're done talking about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see Minnesota going crazy and trying to find a quarterback in the first round. I could. I would still, if I were them, I would try to move down and do it then. Doesn't mean if I'm Minnesota and somebody wanted Roma Dunes or a corner or a defensive lineman, and they wanted to take my 11th pick, and I can move down to between 20 and 23, and then I take a Michael Penix, or if you love Bo Nick, I could see that. But I can't do it. If I say it at 11 with Minnesota's pick, I'm going to take the best defensive player I can. What is that?
I'm gonna reveal my picks in a second. Go ahead.
I have Minnesota taking Terrion Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama.
Yeah, Sam has Nate Wiggins. But Ray, I'm so happy that you said what you said because I got the Vikings taking Michael Penix here.
Okay.
So I got 5 receivers. I have 5 quarterbacks already off the board right now.
Yeah, and you know what? The crazy thing about it is he would really fit their offense because they're a running team who lets you take shots deep.
Correct.
I think Michael Penix in that offense could be a player. I still wouldn't take him in the top 15, but he could be a player.
And obviously, this kind of depends on Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins is getting a little long in the tooth as well. And will they pay him?
They're not paying him. They're not paying him. You got too many young weapons to pay a guy like that. Like, you're locking down the potential of Jay Jettas and Jordan Addison saying, hey, like, this is your guy for the next 5 peak years of your career as a wide receiver. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Sam. Like, I agree with that, but what are they going to do at quarterback then?
Yeah.
Draft Penix.
I think the only way to win a Super Bowl with a lineup that the Vikings have, not to get too off task, but you got to hit the lotto basically at the quarterback position, and like that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to find their gem.
Yeah, and I would like to see Justin Fields in that offense, but I don't know that they would trade him to a team in the division.
I don't know about that either. They that's one of the teams that kind of value their draft picks more than I see with other teams. My thing is Jay Jetta, Justin Jefferson. He put out that wherever Kirk goes, I'm going too. He's a contract, so he don't really have a say in that. But do you think that's gonna kind of weigh into like the Vikings thought process with Kirk?
If I were Minnesota, I would go this way. I would wait to the 2nd or 3rd round and hope that a Michael Penix is there in the 2nd round of the draft and sign Kirk Cousins for a 2-year, 3-year contract, $40 million a year, and I'm done.
You can do that.
If you think, again, I'm in a completely different animal than other people are when it comes to quarterbacks. I don't fear finding the next one. I think if I do my homework, I'll find another quarterback. Kirk Cousins is still a good player. Is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl? Probably not. But he's not going to hurt. He's not going to keep you out of the playoffs either. So
definitely. Won't sign that, bro. I agree. Yeah, I think most people, are thinking that Kirk Cousins is going. I do as well. That's why I got Penix here. But at the same time, I don't know what it is about the Vikings. They keep paying this man. Jay Jett has already talked about he wants to be there.
For the same reason that other teams overpay their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Who's the next guy? They're afraid of it.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. So I get you. All right, at number 12, again, another shakeup. I'm going to start with myself. This is my first defensive player that I took off the board. So 11 straight offensive players on my board. I said that might happen in the beginning of this. I got Dallas Turner going here to Denver. Ray, you got Deron Newton. And then Sam, you have Latu. So 2 edge rushers, 1 2 edge rushers and then defensive tackle. So we all going defensive line here. I want to know what's your mindset on this one because obviously I think Denver is in a weird spot where they might not keep their quarterback as well. Do you think this would be a spot that a quarterback could go to with Denver, or you think they're going straight defense? I'm sorry, with you, Sam. What's your thoughts on this?
I think originally in my mock, I might have had a particular other quarterback. good one of yours, Jerome, JJ McCarthy going to Denver here. I thought that would be an interesting spot for him. And when you're thinking of quarterbacks that have any resemblance to what JJ McCarthy is, I think the only guys that really come up in my head, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, and Sean Payton's already coached under both of those guys. So if Denver's willing to take a shot, I think it's got to be on JJ McCarthy. But if they're, okay with the situation they're in, obviously that's another team. If Kirk Cousins is a free agent, I think that's a team you circle. You definitely keep them in mind.
That's the one I keep hearing right there.
I've heard it. I've heard rumors around him going to that team for years. I think Elway would really finally find some just be comfortable giving his franchise off to somebody like that. I know he's not in the position really to do that anymore, but finally, I think Denver getting him would allow them to kind of just build the rest of their team without having to worry about how well the quarterback's going to play.
Agreed. I think if I'm Kirk Cousins, I like the idea of playing for Sean Payton.
Drew, clearly Drew don't like that assessment. But so if they don't go this route, you all thinking they go defensive line? I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I have as their biggest need on offense is defensive tackle.
Why are you hating? He's an NFL quarterback. He's just not a first round quarterback. Come on, stop, Drew. Come on. I know, Drew. I know. But go ahead, Ray.
I took Newton because again, I think he's an impact inside guy who can get to the quarterback and really good against the run. He's stronger than people think he is. I think he's a good player, and I think that their edge rushers in Denver are okay. I think that this guy can push the pocket out to them so they can get more sacks.
Definitely. Yeah, I think so too. But let's get to our next one because we're a little behind on time, so we're gonna go a little bit faster here. We got the at number 13, we got the LA Raiders, and I'm gonna go with Sam's pick first. He got JT Lenham. Ray has Cooper DeJean, and I have Javon Newton. So, what you guys think about that? I think Newton next to Crosby would be crazy. He needs some help on that defensive line to get spell him a little bit. He's already going crazy with the double teams and things that he's getting already. What you guys thought on those picks right there?
I think they all kind of make a little bit of sense. I mean, I think that Cooper DeJean is maybe I see this kid playing anywhere in my defensive backfield. Mm-hmm. He's a good tackler for his size. He's kind of built like a running back, so he's physical. And I just think that, again, you're talking about a player that, if you looked at the Las Vegas Raiders secondary last year was a mess. And this kid can come in and play for you right away, no matter where you want to put him.
Correct. What do you think, Sam?
I was just kind of I do agree. I think that'd be a nice landing spot for DeJean as well. Just being that I think Vegas has really struggled on that back end for years, and now they have a defensive-minded coach. So if Antonio Pierce and that defensive staff really likes the cornerback, I definitely see them kind of swaying in that direction, especially for our first-round pick. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea for them to grab a tackle here, just being that, hey, you're searching for that franchise quarterback, and I've seen a lot of teams get that franchise quarterback before they have any type of decent tackle, and sometimes that quarterback doesn't make it in as far as you getting a good offensive line, and that stinks, right? You're putting a guy back there with no protection. You're wasting 3 years of his prime potentially, and yeah.
No, I agree, and Drew agrees with you as well, Sam. So it's good to have Drew's opinion on here. All right, let's get to our next draft pick. Me and Sam again agreeing. I don't know, we didn't look at each other's boards,
That's
but
crazy.
Right here we got Taziz Fuaga And then Ray has J.C. Lenham here. So we all taken offensive line for the New Orleans. I'm about to say Pelicans. Geez, New Orleans Saints. Why are we all on the offensive line for this guy?
I think you got to get back to that run game that they've had. I think that's kind of where Ray was going. This offense is kind of built on what they can do on the ground, specifically, tiring teams out, and that's the Saints team that I've remembered from the past and definitely liked. And Teron Armstead, obviously getting up there in age, you're going to start needing replacements. And he's in the Dolphins now. Sorry about that. I'm just thinking Ramczyk, and there's a couple other guys that are older on that offensive line in New Orleans. So for them to get it good, we saw Fuaga at the Senior Bowl, and I think the buzz around him I didn't see him mocked outside of the first round, pretty much after the first practice. So he had a great week according to that and according to the buzz that was around him. So I think this is a good spot for him. And I kind of view him and we'll get to this player later, but I think him and Quinyon Mitchell were the ultimate biggest winners of the Senior Bowl, where they are locked into the first round. If you were at the Senior Bowl, if you care about the Senior Bowl, those are two guys. They're going in the first round. You can book it right now.
Definitely.
Yep. Plus, I think if Derek Carr is a little older in age, you need to protect him and, again, help out the run game. You need to add an offensive guard, too. And there's many things that the Saints need, but you need to take care of the offensive line first and foremost, I think.
Definitely. No, I agree. All right, let's get to the next pick with the Colts. I think this is the biggest wild card for me, at least, in the first round. I think they could go in a ton of different directions. I'm going to get into why I picked the player that I did in a second, but I'm going to let you guys talk about your players. Sam, you got Sam Drzan. I think that's how you say it, by the way. I don't think it's Drzan. I could be wrong.
No, it's Drzan. You're right.
Yeah.
Am I right? Oh, yeah?
It's Drzan, yeah.
Hey, yeah, I'm right for a change. Jared Traverse got picked by Ray for the Colts, and I actually went receiver here. I went Brian Thompson Jr. The reason why I did that is because I think that the Colts need another guy outside of Michael Pittman. They're gonna get their franchise quarterback. Well, I can't say that word right now, Ray, because me and you just had that conversation. But their young quarterback coming in, and I think that having another guy on the outside to kind of help him out and help him in his development would be great. I think that's a good fit for Brian Thompson Jr. there. What you guys think of that pick?
I like Brian Thomas. I just was a little. And some people do have him going in the top 15 or 20. Mm-hmm. I just think, again, it's a deep wide receiver class.
That's very true. Very true.
They need deep edge guys really badly, and versus like my next guy. And again, like I said, after you get out of the first couple rounds of the edge rushers, it gets really spotty after that.
Yeah, definitely. And the other reason why also I picked this player because the Colts have a offensive minded coach. So, both of you guys got defensive players, which, they definitely could, and they definitely could make that defense a little bit better. But thinking, how, now I forget his name, Shane Steichen? Yeah. Steichen worked out with the Eagles is that they stacked that receiver group and let their quarterback kind of cook. So I think that having, a Richardson and having a couple more, weapons for him, that it works for me. What's your thoughts, Ray? Sam? Sorry.
I think the only way, being that Steichen is at the helm there, the only way they go defense, I think, is with the splash pick, which I think I had here, and
you do.
Dijon. So you pair him with Julius Brents in the secondary at the cornerback position. You got really talented 1-2 punch at the cornerback position, and hey, when Shane Steichen was with the Eagles, that's what they had as well. They had a loaded cornerback locker room, and I think the way, your team kind of fills out, especially when you have players in the secondary, young, talented, and, players you could rely on, it's a lot easier to fill out a team when you can cover in pass co, and you can do a lot of things with your cornerbacks, especially with a team that doesn't have a ton of pass rush. think it's as important they have good coverage on the back end.
Definitely. Drew's picking up some pretty good points here. You know, you got Jonathan Taylor, so you might want to keep up with that offensive line. I get that. I also kind of think like that offensive line is good as it is. I know there's some players are getting a little long in the tooth, but this is a good class too. So I can see.
Honestly, the Colts have one of the best offensive lines in football.
Correct.
And again, you need to add defensive players because they gave up a lot of points last year.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. All right, let's get to our next pick. We got the Seattle Seahawks. Sam, this is where you take it. Sorry?
I'm sorry, I sneezed.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something. Sam, this is where you have Newton going off the board right here, the interior defensive lineman. Ray, you have Nate Wiggins. I like Nate Wiggins. He's going to the Seahawks there. And I have Jackson Power Johnson. I think that, you know, grabbing that center, they really need one. I think he'd be a good fit right there. Ray, I want to know why Higgins, though. They've been going cornerback a lot there.
I have, again, it's a pretty deep corner class.
Mm-hmm.
But I have 5 that I think are guys that can do a little bit of everything. As you know, Jerome, I like physical corners that tackle too. Mm-hmm. I don't need guys that just be out there pretty dancing, skating. I need guys to come up and hit people too. So I think there's 4 or 5 guys that I think are better than the other guys. I think you can find depth later on. You get guys who play slot. You get some guys who play boundary. I think Nate Wiggins and a couple other guys that I'm going to pick here in the first round are a little bit different than the other guys after this.
I got you. So can you justify going another corner when you might need some other positions? Like people might be like, hey, you need to fix that offensive line. Hey, you might want to stash a quarterback to play behind Geno. Like they need a guy to kind of spell him. That could be a second round pick, and that could be the JJ McCaffrey pick, whatever. I don't know. But like a lot of people will argue because, you know, they already had what's his name from the Senior Bowl that we interviewed? Roll me back, Sam, 2 years ago. Didn't you interview him?
What position?
Cornerback from the Seahawks. I'm blanking on his name. They had him last year. They got the kid from Illinois. Yeah. So, you know, having 2 corners that they had on the outside now, and then you bring in Wiggins. That's a kind of a luxury pick right there, right?
I can't have enough corners though, dude. Not you can't. I mean, like I have Cincinnati drafting the corner too, and you could argue they don't really need one. But playing in a league where teams throw the ball 60% of the time.
True. I'm gonna search.
No, he's not. But this, and I do remember that Pete Carroll's not coaching there, but he just reminds me of a guy that would play for the Seahawks.
I hear you. Sam, what's your thoughts on that?
I kind of like them going interior D-line here. I think it's the right move for them, just being the fact that they traded for Leonard Williams, who was on a 1-year deal or had 1 year expire in his contract, so he's up again. They have really good, I think, like, explosive talent. I don't know if they have that, like, those dirty players up front that are able to nitty-gritty on the offensive line and they're really going to be able to make plays in the trenches. I don't know if they have that in Seattle. And I think they do need to build that a bit more. Whether they go O-line or D-line, I think them kind of building that interior is really important when looking at this roster right now. Because truly, I mean, running back position, check mark. Wide receiver position, check mark. Like, I don't really know where else you can – I don't know. I don't know where else you can really look here. They're a team that could do a ton as well.
Yeah, my only concern is there's not a lot of inside defensive tackles that I think are maybe 1 or 2 that are first-round players.
Yeah. The 2 players I was thinking about was Tariq Woolen and Devon Witherspoon. So that's the 2 outside corners right now. So that was.
I like Woolen, but I think that if you use him as a chess piece, if you get another corner, you can move inside. You can do a lot of different things in your defensive backfield. I mean, because we know that it's all about getting to the quarterback. but there's two ways of getting to the quarterback. One is to cover the receivers also.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get to our next one. The Jaguars at 17. I got Latu going right here. Ray has your boy Sam, Chop Robinson, and Sam has the Senior Bowl darling, Quentin Mitchell's right here at corner. So me and Ray goes edge rushers right here. Sam, what's your thoughts on the edge rushers? You're the only one that didn't pick a edge rusher.
Yeah, I know that Josh Allen's contract is up, and I think they're gonna have to pay a couple other people on their in that edge room. But personally, I just think they need help in the back end as much as almost anyone, in my opinion. They need desperately that cornerback one. Obviously they need some help from offense as well, but with the depth there is at the wide receiver position in this class, especially, I think they can afford to, really love and take a corner here. I love Mitchell a lot. I think he can truly be that number one guy from what we saw in Mobile.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Ray?
I love Quentin Mitchell. I mean, this pretty much comes down to, again, there's a little more depth at corner than there is at edge rusher. I keep saying the same thing over and over again, so I don't want to. But I love Quinyon Mitchell, as you'll see in the next few picks. I think that Quinyon Mitchell going to a small school is the only reason why he's not top 15 talent right now. I think when the draft is all said and done, he won't be here at 20-something. He'll be taken in the top 15, I do. So, but where I got him, it's right where he's slotted right now on my board. But we're doing this before combines, see how long these guys are, what the times are, what the cone drills are. That will go into the evaluation down the road. But right now, I can't argue with Sam because their cornerback position room is disgusting in Jacksonville. So if they made that pick, I would have no problem with
it. 100%. I agree. All right, let's get to our next one. The Bengals. I took J.C. Lintham right here. Ray, you got Kool-Aid McKinstry right here. And Sam, I love this pick. Brock Bowers. I love it. I before I let you go, Sam, and defend you getting Brock Bowers here, I think that the Bengals need to stop playing around with that offensive line, get a good player on that offensive line, a really good player, because you don't need your franchise quarterback. And Ray, you did agree he's a franchise quarterback. Stop getting him injured. He needs to stay on the field.
He's 1 of 5.
So if you have a franchise guy, you need to protect
1 of 5,
him,
man.
Right?
1 of 5. The thing about me is my opinions never change, dude, unless somebody makes me change them. They don't change.
There you go.
I mean, I think we had this, me and Jerome had a long discussion earlier, not to get too much into it. There's 5 franchise quarterbacks in the league. I know 15 of them are getting paid like they're franchise quarterbacks. There's only 5. Okay?
Definitely. No, I agree. Sam, Brock Bowers going here to the Bengals. Why?
I think other than the fits that we talked about earlier, whether it's 5, whoever's at 10, did you have him going to 10?
Right there.
Where'd you? I forget. You had him going to a decent landing spot, but I don't think there's
the Jets.
Okay, that would I think that'd be great for them. They're kind of in a very similar spot to me that Cincinnati is in, where you have that X receiver, you have nothing else though right now. You have nothing else, and Jerome, like you said, you want to protect Joe Burrow. How about you do both? You give him another receiver, and you also give him someone who could block.
Yeah.
So I think Brock Bowers falling here, Zach Taylor shouldn't blink an eye and swoop him right up, giving Joe Burrow, arguably, if that works out to a lot of people and a lot of those draft analysts out there that have Bowers top 5, top 6, or whatever you want to put him on your list, Jamar Chase and Brock Bowers could be one of the best threats across the whole league if that works out.
I would hate that only because it makes Cincinnati even more dangerous, and I don't need that.
Yeah.
No.
Now, they have a big chance of losing T. Higgins this year as well.
I truly think he's gone. I don't think there's any chance he comes back.
That's the one reason why I don't want them to add another playmaker, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I agree with you because, you losing T. Higgins, you got to pay somebody. It's going to be Jamar Chase. You just paid your quarterback. It's a lot of money going out there. Somebody's gonna have to come in as a fresh face. I like it. I like Brock Bowers going right there at 18. Let's go to 19. I got Amarius Mims right here going to the Rams at 18. Ray, you have Faluga, and Sam, you have Kool-Aid going right here, right? Sam. You're the only one that got the defensive player, so I'll let you go first.
I still like Kool-Aid a lot as a prospect. I just think he'd be a again, I think one of the themes in this mock draft that we've done is you can never have enough corners, and there's a surplus of those guys that can be your dynamite on the defensive end. So I'm taking a shot here and going with the potential and the ceiling.
You put Love in that group, Drew? Okay. We put Jordan Love in the top quarterback.
Wow.
He's a winning quarterback right now as we speak. He's not a franchise quarterback. Yeah, he has a lot of work to do that, man. Come on.
I agree. We'll see how he does.
That's what I mean. That's the reason why. That's the reason why 2/3 of quarterbacks are overpaid, because people build them up to be what they're not yet. Okay?
Very true. All right. Go ahead, Ray. What you think about the picks?
I mean, I like the pick. I love the kid. I had him going to pick before that, obviously. I think as a press corner, he could be a difference maker day one. The problem with McKinstry is this. The ceiling is not really high, but the floor is better than everybody in the draft, maybe. You know he's going to be a good player. You just don't know if he can be a star,
I do like the fact that they whooped up on Dallas.
So do I, but man, and I like Jordan Love, but let's not. Guys had one solid year. If I can't put C.J. Stroud as a franchise quarterback, no, okay.
Okay, I agree. All right, let's get to our next one. Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we all in different ways with this one. I have Terry Honor going here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he'll be a great fit across from man, why can't I think of names today? Their cornerback from last year. Blank on his name right now, but he became a really good corner. I think pitting Terry Honor on the opposite side of him. You got two booking corners. Ray, you picked Byron Murray right there, the defensive tackle, and Sam went quarterback here. J.J. McCaffrey. I will say this before I start. I am a Michigan fan. If you guys do not know.
Really?
I didn't tell you?
No, you forgot that one.
I didn't tell you that?
Yeah.
But I actually don't have JJ in the first round. Even though I have the most quarterbacks in this draft. But Sam, you got JJ, you got the second most quarterbacks in the first round. Why?
If you don't have JJ in your first round, you have him as the 33rd, the 35th pick.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know how much you're really saying, I will have him in my first round. Like, he's still a top 40 prospect to you. So
yes.
When you're bunching those guys together, you know what I mean? When you see all those people redo drafts, they're like, guys get shifted. The early second round guys are top 10 picks, and everything kind of combobulates. And hey, I think this could be a decent situation for both parties in a way. JJ's going to a team that's not necessarily, in the situation like Carolina is or like Arizona is. They're not bad. You might win a couple games because of how good the Steelers defense is. That being said, I think him going to a veteran coaching staff is also another important thing for JJ McCarthy. And, I like him here for Pittsburgh. I could see them if they're looking at prospect. I can see it here.
That makes sense, Drew. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What do you say?
Wisconsin guy. Yeah. That makes sense. All right. So I like the fact that you have JJ in there. My issue is, and I'm not trying to make Drew look right. I'm not, but I think me and Ray said this. I don't think JJ's ready to be he shouldn't have came out. I think he should have stayed in one more year. He has all the potential in the world, but his overall makeup makes me. There's questions still. AJ needs to be in a spot where either he's waiting behind somebody or the team is not going to rely on him being the guy. Right now, I think he has the potential to still do that, but to come in and be like, JJ, take over this franchise right now, I don't think you could do that. And I think that with the Steelers, they have a guy that they kind of fringe on anyway. So if you're going to bring in a quarterback for the Steelers, you need to bring somebody in there that's a lot more stable. You need to have a guy that all right, if anything, we're going to have a guy that's in here stable and then have Kenny Pickett because we're still not sure about him. And that way, either Kenny will be better, maybe you can trade him off later, or you got yourself a better guy. I think having two fringe guys are going to cause that quarterback rotation, and it's going to be a mess. So that's my opinion on that one. What do you think, Ray?
I agree because I think the coach is not – I never say that Mike Tomlin's under pressure to win, but I think he probably feels pressure on his own that he's probably a quarterback away from being a pretty good team. Yeah, well, and I agree. I don't disagree with that. I think he can be better than Kenny Pickett. But the question is, can he be better than Kenny Pickett or another quarterback right now?
Correct. That's what I'm saying too. I just think that you're going to have, if JJ comes in and struggles, and we don't know if he's going to or not, but he comes in and struggles, so you're going to lean on another struggling quarterback.
I mean, we talked about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins fits in Pittsburgh too.
Mm-hmm.
He'd go there and be a really nice player for them. I would rather, if I was Pittsburgh, invest in a younger guy like Joseph Fields who has some game experience, and that run game will take another step up. And I think they can challenge Baltimore if they have the right quarterback. I do.
I agree. I agree with that. We'll see. I'm still not – the jury's not still out on Kenny Pickett for me. It's out year.
It's done. Pull the plug.
Ray, you didn't like him from the beginning, so I get it.
And nothing that he's done has changed my opinion, man. Okay. And my only problem with Kenny Pickett is that he's either a solid starter or a backup quarterback. You don't take him in the first round. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
Gotcha. All right, let's get to our next one. That was a good discussion, though. Ray, your team was on the board. You didn't have them having a first round pick last year, so I know you're excited about this. But I'm gonna say the guy that you had. You got Quinyon Mitchell, which you kind of hear right now. Sam has Mims, Memphis Mims going there, the offensive lineman, and then I picked. And I don't know how you feel about this, Ray, but Cooper DeJean.
I'd be happy with either one of them guys because again, I have one good corner. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Xavier Howard. His play has slipped off the last couple of years. Now they'll either renegotiate with him, get him at a cheaper price, or he's probably going to go somewhere else. So we're going to need to draft a we did draft what's his name last year, from South Carolina, but he couldn't get on the field this year. So we'll see what happens there. But again, you can't. When you have someone as good as Jalen Ramsey, there's a lot of things you could do with him, even if you have two other good starting corners.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this: if Brock Bowers lasted to pick 17, I would love Miami to just move up and get him because I would love to add him to my offense. I would.
Yeah.
But for right now, I'm looking at, and again, I think when it's all said and done, that Quinyon Mitchell's not going to be there at 21. When the draft really comes around and you see how explosive this kid is athletically. But for right now, I think he can come in and again, I can move Jalen Ramsey around, let my safety step up and be really good. That's good. I didn't say no one said as good as Jalen Ramsey. I did not say that.
I'm waiting for you to see
no one can put words in my mouth, dude. I did not say. What I said is even if what's his name comes in and plays well better this year after he didn't start last year, I can move Jalen Ramsey inside and do a lot of matchup things with him if I have this guy. I did not say that.
You're like stirring the pot.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Yo, man, you can start upon all you want, but no one can tell me what I did. It's recorded. I know. I never said, man. Jalen Ramsey is a Hall of Famer. There's no one in this draft is Jalen Ramsey. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Real quick. Still on the Dolphins. Sam picked Amartez Mims right there.
Demarius Mims is what we're going to see later. And the thing is with Miami is, yes, they could use a tackle, but they have 2 tackles already signed for the next 2 years. So that's going to be.
I was going to ask you, Ray, because I know the last couple of years you've been really adamant about your offensive line. You guys been drafting out the wazoo in that position. I'm just trying to see, like, what's your thought on your offensive line right now? Like, would you want to take a Mims right now, like that early? Like,
no, I can't because I have too many needs other places. And again, I'm paying I just re-signed Austin Jackson, who has turned into a solid player. Still not worth a first-round pick, but a solid player. And I have the other guy that used to play in New Orleans at left tackle. So we're good there, even though he's always hurt. So I could see bringing in a guy that could develop and down the road. Yeah. But I can't use a first-round pick because I haven't had a first-round pick in 3 years, man. Come on.
Sometimes in these late round picks, it almost blends so much into a second for me that I'm not thinking of it as a first rounder. You know what I mean? It's
I get it. Man, you one injury away from never know, and that's obvious.
Armstead's on the back end of his career. It's like
the problem is that there's no interior offensive lineman. Powers Johnson, if he's there at 21, I would think about that.
I'm the only one that picked him so far.
No, I mean, like if he's there. I would absolutely think about that. I took a corner because, again, I'm working with right now. I have one good corner on my roster because Xavier Howard's going to be cut. I'm almost positive he's going to. So right now I have one Jalen Ramsey. You heard me say it. One Jalen Ramsey, right? Okay. So I need to add depth to my defensive back.
Ray, I just realized you don't have Powers Jackson on your first round at all.
I do not because I want to be there in the second round.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the next pick. I'm sure Chris is waiting to hear this one. It's the Eagles pick.
You guys know what my pick. You love my pick, right, Jerome?
Yeah. Let's get to it. Sam gives the Eagles Terrion Arnold right there. Me and Sam was on the same wavelength, different player though. I picked Nate Wiggins. I think he's gonna be a good pick for them. It's funny actually. I got 3 cornerbacks going back to back to back. Right there. So I had 3 cornerbacks going back to back to back. But Ray with the bombshell. And it's funny because like when I was looking at your list, I'm like, this kid, wait, he fell this far? Ray has the Eagles picking. You ready, Sam? I'm gonna let you react to this one, Sam. I'm gonna let you react to this first. He has the Eagles picking Romeo Odunze. Adunes. Yeah. He fell to 22 for some reason.
I would be so mad if that happened. Like actually so mad. That would be like one of the worst things that could happen, honestly. And they would have to do it. That like if that's the way you draft, like you have to. But
I agree.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Could he go before this? Absolutely. But if he's there and the Eagles are picking, I mean, they need to add speed to their receiving core.
I get it, Ray. There's a tons loads of wide receiver in this class. I mean, for someone to go, hey, I like Troy Franklin over him. It's not crazy. You know what I mean? It's like it's your preference. Like teams will reach if they have
Keon Coleman, Brian Thomas. The only reason I went to him is because I think that if we could add speed and AJ Brown, who seems to be more of a malcontent every year, it's time to move on, man. I hate to tell you that, Eagles fans.
Okay, so let me go through some of the teams that could have got him and he didn't. Maybe the Jets. You see the Jets going there. You didn't pick Chicago getting them.
You know what, Joe? I listen to a lot of Jets content. I think the Jets are gonna try to sign a number 1 wide receiver. I think they are.
I could see that too. The Raiders, maybe, possibly. You have the Colts, which I picked a receiver there. Jags, depending on what happened with what's his name from
Denver might need a second option.
Denver could, depending on what they do with the receivers. Bengals may want to load up on the wide receivers again. I think the Rams might be okay, maybe. Pittsburgh, they might be okay. Miami's okay. I think Miami's good. I think Miami wouldn't get a receiver there. So yeah,
I think Miami will draft a wide receiver. I just don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah, not that high. Y'all got a lot of money in that position, and you're gonna have to sign.
We do, and
yeah.
Well, here's the problem, dude. Like I told you before, Jerome. If we pay $250 million, you can kiss JJ Watt. You can kiss Waddle goodbye.
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting. If Romeo wind up being the Eagle, I would not complain. No, but there's going to be a lot of talk about A.J. Brown at that point, though. It's going to be a lot of talk about that. So
you know what? Here's the thing, though. You got to play the other guy.
Yeah.
So an A.J. Brown, he's still a very, very good player, without a doubt.
Correct.
And I know he always says the right thing when he's in front of the camera, but it just seems like he's never happy on the field, except for like 2 years ago when they were going to the Super Bowl.
Definitely. No, I agree.
The Eagles' defense. Is that what
he's talking about Miami. Drew's talking about Miami. He said the Miami.
Without doubt. We have defensive holes. We need A.J. Brown is not a wide receiver is not a foundation piece, guys. Just in case you didn't know. They're like the frilly napkin, okay? They're like a corner, okay? Come on. Come on, man.
Oh, the Eagles need defense. Oh, yeah. I heard that.
I don't disagree with that. The problem is, what defense do they need? Do they need an edge guy?
They need edge guy in their corner.
Edge guy more than anything.
Linebacker, which I don't think.
Jerome.
I have a linebacker in the first round.
Linebackers every year, man. Why are we doing it again?
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's never going to happen.
You're right.
Linebackers are the thing you get off the street corner every other week.
Yeah. The Eagles could get an edge depending on what they do with.
The problem is that, like, if the draft goes away, I haven't seen. There's not another edge guy that's a first round talent. There's just not.
Yeah. Well, I have an edge guy that's going on next. So we're gonna talk about the Texans. Ooh, Texans got a luxury pick right here. But I'm gonna say you guys pick first. Sam got Byron Murphy going there. I already like that pick right there. Ray got Keon Coleman going to the Texans. I have Javon Hurst going there. I had him falling a little bit. I said this in the beginning of this.
Wow, that's a free fall, man. What are you talking real bad?
Yeah, but I also said I'm gonna have a really, really and I was struggling with this. I actually was thinking maybe the Eagles could get him there, but I wound up getting the corner because Bradbury was struggling. Slay's getting up in age, so I wanted to rejuvenate that position. So cornerback it was, but the Texans getting Verse right there, I think that would be an awesome pick right there. If he do fall, I said this and I've been saying it. I really, really think this is gonna be a really heavy offensive first round, first couple of picks. I really do. So a lot of my really strong defensive players fall down a little bit, so that's why it's looking like that. But I want to know what you guys think about your picks. Sam, what do you think about Byron Murphy going to the Texans?
It's kind of a homer pick to me. I think that tends to happen more often than we do point out. It's where, they have that access to him being from Texas, I think. And when I'm looking at this Houston defense, I don't really remember them having a force in the middle of it, potentially. Will Anderson Jr., some great pieces, some really special, talent on the back end as well. But for them to have, a player like that they can plug and play up front, I think is huge. You're kind of hoping you're just getting the kind of the impact like a Dexter Lawrence makes for the Giants. I think that's kind of the hoping the player you're going to get who's going to be able to push the pocket. Obviously not give you 10 to 15 sacks, but he's going to be able to really control the trenches of this game and really throw centers and quarterbacks off task a bit.
I agree. I like Verse going there too. Pairing Verse up with Will Anderson that's crazy. I mean, I like Byron Murphy too, man. You can get another guy on there. You got a defensive-minded coach over there. He wants to stack up that defense. Ray, Keon Cole going to Houston. What's your thoughts on that?
I think they could use more playmakers on their offense. You saw them like in the playoffs. They didn't really have anybody. What's his name got hurt? Little speed guy got hurt. Kind of hurt him a little bit. I like this guy who's a little bit different than their other receiver, but the same. Like they're tall guys where he'll get up and down field and make plays for you. I mean, again, it's it's more of a luxury pick than maybe some people would give them. But I think that, again, you need to add players to their offense. Their defense was good last year. They still need work. Don't get me wrong, but their defense was good. It was their offense not being able to score points out of the passing game. They did really well.
Lack of options.
Yes, exactly. They did really well against bad teams. Mm-hmm. And then when you got against the better defenses, you could tell that they were a little limited downfield. So.
Yeah. No, and I hear you. Not having Tank Dell at the end of the year really hurt them. They only had one true receiver going at the end of the year, being Nico Collins. So I agree with you, but at the same time, it's a luxury pick.
They invested a lot of picks into that position recently, and you're looking at John Mechie as well, which is an early pick. Tank Dell, early pick. They have Dalton Schultz still. So, Ray, I agree with you. This would be a great ad for a Texans team. Love the prospect Keon Coleman is, but I think at this point in time, the Texans need to get a bigger impact player than they already have two wideouts that a lot of other teams would really love to have.
Yeah,
definitely. I agree with you. Drew thinks that they should go on defense. It is a luxury pick, and if that goes the way it is, I personally would just try to see what you got on the offense. Like you said, Dalton Schultz is basically an offensive receiver for them as well. So I would stack up on defense a little bit too. Get a little better. You got another year of a quarterback that can develop even more. Have a better rapport with his other receivers too. So
we'll throw for more than 45,000 yards, 4,500 yards, more than that.
Wait, I hear you, Ray. But also you gotta remember, he wasn't doing much when he played the Ravens. So
who was anybody else, man?
It's still some. Yeah, and that was the top defense. Don't get me wrong. That was the top defense. Don't get me wrong. But hey,
if you reverse quarterbacks, though, maybe use some wins that game. God.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, let's get to our next pick. The Cowboys. All right, Sam gave the Cowboys Paxton Powers Johnson. I would hate that. Ray gave them Amarius Mims, and I gave them a player I would hate them to get as well, Byron Murray. What are we thinking, guys? I got Byron Murray. I think each pick, Byron Murray was around this pick. No, Ray has him a little bit earlier. That's 20. But we were around the same area with Byron Murray. Ray Sam got him one pick earlier than me. What you guys think on those picks? Cowgirls. I love it, Drew.
I think Jackson Powers Johnson would really help out the Cowboys' interior offensive line immediately. I don't know if it's talked about enough, just because I feel like it's an assumption for the last 10 years that Dallas has this amazing offensive line that's still standing too tall and strong and after all these years. And I don't know if that still reigns true today. I think they still need help up front tremendously. And, hey, there's a lot of finger pointing along that offense. And I get it. It's hard not to do that when they suffer as many big-time losses that they have. But that being said, it's like you obviously have to put some blame on Dak, but there comes a point in time where you have to consider what is around him. And I think that's a great point by Drew that, Dak might want out of there. Everyone's talking about how Dallas wants Dak out. Like, why would Dak want to be there? Why has anyone talked about that? He's under as much scrutiny as he would be on any other team. He takes twice the blame as he would on any other team. And everything he does is done in a complete microscope. And he's not that guy. He's not Caleb Williams coming out. He was a 4th, 5th round pick that came from Mississippi State. Dak isn't that guy. And we knew that coming into the league. And I could see Dak succeeding in another uniform. I really can. He's already been through the worst a quarterback could possibly be in treatment from ownership, a fan base in whole. So not saying Dak Prescott is Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. I'm saying he's a good quarterback who's been really, really criticized.
Yeah. I don't know where Drew stands as far as his hatred for the Cowboys, but it seems like he's right along with us.
Yeah, well, you know what, honestly?
Eagles fan, Giants fan down here. I don't know how Ray feels about the Cowboys. I don't think he likes them.
West, man.
Yeah, but
no, I don't understand the hatred. I don't, but it's okay. I don't understand it. I mean, I don't like the Bills, and I don't like the Patriots or the Jets, but I'm not going to sit here and call them names. I don't do that. Sorry.
No, I will.
Challenge.
Anyway. but this one thing. Dallas
have 5 Super Bowl championships, though. That's never going to change.
They're in the last how long? Ray, you was
yeah, Miami hasn't won anything since '73, which everyone tells me, but that doesn't matter. It still happened.
That's true.
And I still, as much as I hate the Jets, I don't get into calling people names, man. It's very petty. It's almost embarrassing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, hate the Jets. I mean, Giants. Oh, yeah, Cowboys. Wow.
Why do you hate the Bears? I need to know that.
I don't know. Oh, he's a Green Bay guy.
Oh, well, why does he hate the Cowboys then?
Be quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, listen.
Oh, now I know why Jordan. Now one thing came to come. I love it. That's
listen.
Right there.
Drew, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I said a guy that hasn't played the NFL yet is as good as Jalen Ramsey. Sure, I did.
Drew, don't get me wrong. We interviewed Jordan Love. He's one of our guys. I think he's going to be I personally still think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I didn't know he
had Skip Bayless on board with us.
Huh?
I didn't know he had Skip Bayless on board with us.
Skip Bayless, oh my goodness. Stop it. But be nice, Greg. Be nice. Everybody be nice. This is a friendly podcast.
Why? Calling people names isn't nice, is it?
He got you there.
I agree. Everybody be nice.
Have you ever heard me call anybody a name, dude? Once? Ever? Okay. Go ahead.
Definitely. All right, let's move on. I do like the banter back and forth.
I know you hate the Cowboys, too, Jerome. It's all good. I got you. It's okay. I'm sure. You know what?
Right, real quick before we move on.
Sam isn't crazy about him either.
Before we move on, Ray, though, I do think that Marius Mims going to the Cowboys is a good fit because
their offensive tackles, their interior offensive line is still pretty good, which is why they run the ball fairly well. Their tackles are bad.
Yeah, they're about to lose Tyron Smith. He's getting old. He's starting to show it. Tyron Smith is in that sense where the Eagles had what's his name?
Brandon Brooks.
Huh?
Brooks.
Not Brooks. The other one, our tackle.
Wade.
Oh, the old tackle that we had. Man.
It's not Brandon Brooks?
No, not Brandon Brooks.
He was your tackle before.
Brandon Brooks wasn't our tackle.
But he played guard. Yeah, he did play guard.
Heck,
it's not even that they're horrible. They're just like if you run a stunt against Dallas, especially through the B gap, you're going to get to the quarterback on every play because their tackles don't block anybody. They need help on every play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to talk about you want to keep it real, Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, and he's always been a good quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback, but he's a good quarterback, and I wouldn't overpay him either. But if you're gonna overpay him, you better address the offensive line problem for sure.
Definitely. Oh man, I'm blanking on Jason Peters. There you go, Jason Peters.
Wow,
Yes.
he's still playing too, isn't he?
I think he is.
Yeah, he plays somewhere. He is.
Dude, he was even on Dallas.
He was on Dallas at one time this year.
Hey, you're right. That's crazy. That's wild. That's correct. No,
Well, that's how bad they are at the tackle, I guess, Ray, with their calling 41-year-olds.
Well, exactly.
Definitely. No, he's starting to get like Jason Peters, where he's kind of hanging around way too long. He's starting to show his age a little bit. He's not at that point where he's not here with the Eagles yet. But I think it's time to kind of move on and get somebody to replace him.
It is, but you know what, Jerome? If I were a guy and they're going to pay me $5 million to go in there and be a backup,
he's in Seattle. That's right.
He is in Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind the guy hanging on because he wants to play as long as he's playing for the right reasons. I mean, Jason Peters again has not really been a good player in 5 years, like not a difference maker. But when he was in his prime, he's a Hall of Fame left tackle.
Yeah,
let's be honest about it.
100%. So is Tyrone Thomas Smith.
He doesn't have the body of work, and
I think he does. I'm an Eagles fan, and I think he does. Honestly.
I think he might have like 8 or 9 Pro Bowls with like at least 2 or 3 All Pros. I think he has.
I think Jason Peters made a Pro Bowl for 11 straight seasons.
That's true too. That's true too.
On 2 different teams.
Yeah. So I get it. All right, let's get to our next pick. We are with Drew's team, Green Bay. So Drew, I hope you like our picks here. Ray and Sam finally agree. You guys finally agree. We both got Tyler Guyton right here, offensive tackle. I got Troy Fonatu, not new, Fonu. Anyway, offensive lineman for Green Bay. What you guys think?
I mean, they could use either player. I like Guyton. I think he's a good left tackle. You can move him to right tackle. He could probably play inside the guard a little bit, going to be a versatile type player. But I mean, if you get an offensive lineman here, you're in a good spot because that's really all what they need more than anything else. So,
yeah, what do you think, Sam?
And I am a Jordan Love fan, so
I like Guyton a lot at the Senior Bowl. I think he's going to be a solid prospect. I think just watching him, he didn't give me any red flags that other offensive linemen wouldn't be.
Hey, you like my pick?
Technically, as sound as any offensive tackle in the draft.
Yeah,
Tyler Guyton, he is. So.
Definitely.
I would agree.
All right. I like it. All right, let's get to our next pick. We got the Buccaneers on the board. Sam, you got Enos Rexall, the cornerback from Mizzou, I think he's from.
Yes.
Ray, you got Graham Burton. I think I like that right there. I got Braylon Trice. I think people are starting to warm up to him. I think they've seen him, and he got a really high motor. I do think he needs to have a little bit better pass rush moves, but I think that once he kind of get into that move and he having that strong motor that he already have, I think he can sneak into the first round, late first round, early second, right there. What do you guys think of the picks?
I like them all. They're all good picks, early.
This is a team I think that can really go anywhere as well. Like I don't think if they can really mess up going a lot of different directions. Like you have Baker, but if they love a prospect, they can do it. You know what I mean? They can really go in any direction. That's kind of how I look at the Bucs.
They could. I mean, this is another team that honestly, if they're thinking 2 years down the road, maybe they jump on a quarterback here and let him develop behind somebody.
That's true too.
I mean, you may have a hard time convincing, the quarterback that Baker Mayfield that's good for him. But again, Baker Mayfield at this point, I would give Baker Mayfield 3 years, $90 million, and that's what I'm paying you, dude. And if you don't want it, then we'll go another avenue. That's all.
He just doesn't have the authority anymore to be like, don't draft.
Yeah, I like Baker Mayfield. I do.
Yeah, I do too. I think
he's a good player. He's always been a good.
He was never going to amount to the draft position that he was taken in.
No.
What John Dorsey did there was just.
That's my thing about and I hate to go back to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. For what you got out of a 4th-round pick, man, that's a steal.
He said the word. Yeah.
Are we talking about Jordan Love still?
He's talking about Baker.
No, I think he's talking about Jordan Love.
No, I think he's talking about Baker.
We'll see.
I think that Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. I would never call him a franchise quarterback, though.
Same sentence as Brett Favre is pushing him for me. But
that's why I think he meant Jordan Love.
No, he said Baker. See? He said Baker.
Okay, well, Baker. Not my franchise. What, Drew, would you trade him for if I were Tampa Bay and I said I'll give you Baker Mayfield and a 2nd-round pick for Jordan Love, would you do it?
You're funny. You're a funny dude, man.
No,
what's your question, Ray?
If Tampa Bay were to call Green Bay right now and say, I'll give you Baker Mayfield and a 2nd-round pick for Jordan Love right now, would he take that?
Oh, you're talking about Drew?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even think about it.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
And I like him. I just don't think that Baker Mayfield is anything but a good quarterback. And I think Jordan Love has enough potential to be a little better than that.
I'm not commenting on that one.
Who's that? Who's mine? Is he talking about Brett Favre?
He's talking about Packers. He's talking about Packers. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, let's move on to the next picks. We got the Cardinals back on the board with their 2nd first-round pick. I got Quentin Mitchell here. I got him sliding a little bit. I like some of the other corners slightly better right now. I still need to do more evaluations on the corners. But I think Quentin Mitchell will definitely have himself in the 1st round, so I have him going there. I think that was a good pick for them. He slid a little bit. He's a good player. Ray has Brian Thompson, the wide receiver that I got a little bit earlier in the 1st round, going there. And then Sam has Troy Falatanu. Any gripes on those picks?
I like Fatanu, as I have him going a couple of picks later than that. He would also make sense. I just think that Arizona needs to add a wide receiver and a big possession guy like that because their quarterback is hanging on by threads right now, man. And he needs to do something to help him also.
Yeah.
If you want to make him worth half of what you paid him, you better give him something to throw the ball to, man.
Yeah, I think all of us in a good realm of like what we got right here. I think Quentin Mitchell is a luxury pick at this point. I'm not saying that they don't need corners; they definitely do. I do like the fact that Ray gave them a receiver because I think they do need receiver. I like the fact that Sam gave them an offensive lineman. I like all the picks honestly where they are right there.
I mean, plus we're coming to the end of the 1st round, man. Like we're like picking, like it don't matter now. Like it's like we're kind of like to the end of the 1st round. Does this guy have a 1st round grade? Everybody that I took in the 1st round, I had with a 1st round.
With you, Greg. Look, y'all can make up. Y'all agree. First off.
Okay. It's not about telling me I'm right either, man. It's not that. It's the bad thing about me is I remember everything I hear.
It does get messy around this time because it's a
lot of
2nd rounds going to 1st. There's a lot of 1st going to 2nd.
I only have one guy going in the 1st round that I had a 2nd round grade on.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty much because of need, basically.
I agree. All right, let's get to our next pick. It's the Bills, and I got the Bills taking Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver. So I got 2 Mitchells going back to back. Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver for the Bills. I'm not sure if Stephon Diggs is still going to be there. But even if he's not there, I still think they need to get a receiver in there very early as possible to help the quarterback, which I'm blanking name. Ray got Cam Kitchens, which I think he's going to be a first rounder too. I didn't have him in my first round, but I think he can be a first round too. And a guy that I was really high on going to the Senior Bowl, I had to make sure I interviewed him. So he's a guy. And then Sam has Keon Coleman. So I think me and Sam kind of on the same thought pattern as far as getting a receiver. What you guys think about those picks?
I think Buffalo has to take a receiver. I don't think they're locked into it necessarily, but I guarantee you that Gabe Davis isn't coming back, so he'll hit the market soon. And they're going to need that wide receiver too. Even if Diggs comes back, which I think there's a better chance than other people do, I think giving Josh his second really special weapon with that rate, what's going to be available there is great for Buffalo. They're going to have a slew of guys on the clock, and they're going to have probably 7 of their top 10 receivers right there if they want them. So again, I like Coleman here. Jerome, who'd you take? I'm trying to think. You took Adonai Mitchell. I love Adonai Mitchell as well. I think those two guys, that's where I will kind of go, where Buffalo needs to hit on. Like Cam Kitchens, I like Kitchens too. You need a replacement for what they have at Micah Hyde. So I don't know. They do need offensive linemen, but Khalil Shakir was their go-to guy in the playoffs. Like, that's not winning you a ring. It's not winning you a ring, Drew. I'm just letting you know. Like, you got to give Josh a couple guys who could really do their thing. And with the way Diggs has kind of handled it.
Especially if you lose Diggs. Yeah. Diggs, you got to get somebody in there.
I would have no problem with them moving on from Stephon Diggs because he's another one like A.J. Brown. Like, he never seems happy anymore. So that will be fine. But you can't get a guy in the draft that's going to take that spot right now. So if you draft a wide receiver, I don't have a problem with that. But I would probably do it a little later because it is a deep draft for wide receivers. You hit the peg square on the peg there where Hyde and their safeties are hurt all the time and you can't depend on them every game. And their defense is what loses for them almost every year.
Bro, are you talking about Gabe Davis, Because Gabe Davis is a free agent also.
I mean, I think if you're Buffalo, you either just stick with Stephon Diggs and ride it out this year, or maybe you use that money on another free agent wide receiver. And again, you could draft wide receivers this year and get some guys that come in and probably give you some downs and do some things. I mean, again, Jerome knows I'm a huge Stephon Diggs fan, man. I love the kid from when he came out of Maryland. I just tired of hearing his mouth at this point. I mean, how much money do you need before you're happy?
Yeah. And think about how many other talented wide receivers in the NFL across the league have way worse situations with quarterbacks.
Yeah, again.
I mean, Garrett Wilson is struggling all season to get 2 relatively okay targets in a regular season game.
Now that just won the Super Bowl, was throwing to his tight end 90%.
Everyone in the league is injured by week 13. Just letting you know.
You know what? I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, right? But what I don't ever use are excuses. All 3 of my deep edge rushers were hurt. All 3 of them. I had 1 healthy offensive lineman when the season came around. I had 1 healthy linebacker, 1 healthy corner. No excuses, man. Get the job done, brother. If you're on the field, get the job done.
Joe, it's not a sense of drafting off of injuries or even Diggs being injured.
Wow.
It's because it's 2 things. They need another weapon. Gabriel Davis is going to be out of there. He could resign. He may be. Your other best receiver is Shakir, who came on late, yes, but he's
not even a 2 though. Like especially on a team like that.
He's a good exactly. Yeah,
and then the situation with Diggs seeming like he wants out of there. So
correct.
I think that they could definitely use a receiver no matter what. And you can't have too many receivers.
I think if Sam's right, they draft a wide receiver. You play 12 personnel. You have 2 good tight ends. One that can get downfield a little bit more. Change your offense a little bit. Run the ball a little more. Let your quarterback make plays when he absolutely has to, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on. Let's get to the Lions. I love my Lions pick, so I want to hear that.
I actually like mine pick for them too, man. God, you guys can go first.
Sam, you have Brandon Bryce, the guy that I got for the Bucks. Ray, you have Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver, and I got Kool-Aid McKitchen. I think he's gonna slide a little bit, but I love him going to Detroit. He just breathes Detroit to me. I want to.
Jerome, if he were still here, they would jump on him.
Yeah, I think they would jump on that too relatively quickly. See, it's hard because like you could have a guy there, and me and Ray could have him taken 7, 8 picks before him. Like, oh, of course Dan Campbell would take him. Like, why not? It's like, but that being said, I can't. I don't know if he'll be there that late. One thing I wanted to note on was Jameson Williams really came on at the end of the year, and I don't know if you need a wide receiver in round 1 if you're Detroit. I don't think that's particularly their biggest need, and I think cornerback would help them way more than that. You have Kool-Aid in the Niner game. You're playing in you might be playing in the Super Bowl, buddy. So
I agree with the whole idea.
Yeah, listen, my guy.
I just think that if you draft this guy who's a bigger body guy, the other 2 guys actually are better players. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like my guy played in that cornerback position, and Ayuk was eating him alive the entire time. Like, oof. So they definitely need corner for sure.
They do.
All right, cool. Let's get to our next pick. We got the Ravens on the board. It's funny. All of us drafted Troy's. Not the same Troy's, but we all got Troy's.
Oh wow.
So I got Troy Franklin. Sam got Troy Franklin, and Ray has Troy.
I know.
Yeah. So, what you got?
I like all those picks too. I think all of them will work really well. Them going O-line is can't miss, in my opinion. Honestly, it's just that's a different type of offense to me. It's a different type of thing that you have to build around with Lamar. It's like, oh, you can't just have one good tackle. You can't just have one good guard. Like, you need 5 offensive linemen to protect Lamar because he's going to be all over the place. He's going to get hit a bunch. That being said, Odell, all those guys this year are leaving. You have Zay. Mark Andrews is kind of banged up now coming off that injury. I think it would be really beneficial for them to try to get that number 2 guy. I don't think Rashad Bateman really is going to be that answer. So, he's the 3 or 4. He's truly a 3 or 4.
Bateman got buried on the depth chart for sure.
I think if he had a better quarterback, he'd get the ball more and he'd be a better player.
Oh my God, Ray.
I think that the quarterback read takes 2 reads and then takes off for his life.
All right, our podcast rating just went down.
All I know is he was a number 1 seed and failed again. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, they do need 7 offensive linemen for that offense for sure.
Plus, again, the people talk about how great he is, but why does he need such a run game if he's so great?
Okay. All right, we're gonna move along.
We're
gonna move along. We're gonna move along, Ray.
Sorry, man.
Ray could have a podcast literally just talking about Lamar Jackson. Literally. That's why we got to move on.
How's good? God.
No, you good. Oh my God, that's too funny. All right, let's get to our Super Bowl teams. We got the 49ers in here at 31. I got them Tyler Guyton right here. I know you guys got him a little earlier. I got them going here. They really need a tackle / guard, especially guard position, I think.
Yeah, Chris Jones was taking advantage of that middle of the offensive line.
He was destroying them in that game. So I think having a guard will be good for them. Ray, you got Kamari Lissier. I think that's
last year, I think.
Last year, yeah, from Georgia. And then Sam with Graham Burton. I like that pick too. What's your thoughts on those?
I mean, Senior Bowl guy, Duke guy. I think he's going to be a solid offensive lineman. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw what happened with Feliciano the other day. It was kind of a big blow up on Twitter about him throwing one of his younger teammates under the bus pretty badly. But so I don't think he's coming back. And there's going to be some rotations up front, especially in the interior of that offensive line. Hey, that's how the Niners won this year. They ran the football. That's when they were at their best, is when they're, really getting on the move and calling some really good runs for Christian McCaffrey. So I think you got to focus on that and getting a guy really solid, consistent, like Graham Barton is on the interior offensive line. I think you can't miss there, really.
Definitely.
I agree with that. The only problem again, Sam, we're talking about, like, I have him going like 3 picks before that, so I took their next biggest need was corner. So
yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. And then obviously the Super Bowl champs. Me and Sam got some wide receivers actually. But I want to talk about your pick, Ray. So I'm gonna tell the viewers who we got. So Sam, you got Brandon Thomas Jr. You got
if he falls to Kansas City, they're running it back.
Oh yeah.
If there's any chance that he falls to them,
I have him in the team. So yeah, if he falls to Jesus.
Again, it's really weird with the wide receivers. We'll explain that to you now. Come draft night, there might be a guy that people love that is mid-second round of most boards that is taken at 23.
Sure.
That's just how the NFL draft works. And we're not here to tell you what teams like. We're here to tell you what we like. So just putting that disclaimer out there.
The best thing about the draft is looking where everyone's boards are and then comparing them. Because that's what makes me think. Because when I hear someone else's evaluation is different than mine, it makes me go back and watch different games.
Yep.
I have a formula. I watch their best game, their worst game, and the games against their best opponents.
Yep. Marcus was actually talking about something like that yesterday.
That's what I watch. I watch game film. I've already done 300 players, man.
Yeah. Wow, Ray. Damn. Ray be on it. I love it. My next pick, I've been against this for so long, but I could totally see the Chiefs doing it. And if the Chiefs take this player, I'm telling you, he's going to be way better than I'm giving him credit for. And I think Sam's smirking because I think he knows who I'm picking here. I want you to announce the pick, Sam. And Sam haven't seen my board. Go ahead.
Is it McConkey?
It's McConkey.
Dude.
It's McConkey. Can you imagine him being on the Chiefs, though?
Yeah. I mean, it's the only fit that would be absolutely perfect, no questions asked.
That's what I mean. It makes too much sense. Imagine.
But how you all the guys that me and you all the guys that have Leggett, Pearsall, all those guys just no, that's crazy. I mean, Kadarius Toney's not going to be on that roster next year.
He fits what they trying to do. That little corn dog play they do. Imagine Ladd doing that. Come on.
You're right, though. I do remember he was on the roster. He cost him a touchdown in the game.
Yeah, no, he played 10 games for them this year. He was their slot guy, but he was.
There is a guy who's ultra talented that just does not get it, man.
Yeah. Definition.
I think Kansas City can help themselves out a wide receiver. I mean, honestly, if I were DeAndre Hopkins, I would be begging someone to trade me to Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, I think he signed a 1-year deal, so he could potentially sign there.
Correct.
My understanding.
The thing is, I think he
might take a cheap deal to go someplace like that. Because at this point,
I wish he would, because
he's going to ring hunt because he's right on that Hall of Fame borderline. In my opinion, we are talking about his career stats. He's kind of on the.
I mean, honestly, I have Kansas City taking Leonard Taylor because I'm afraid you're going to lose Chris Jones, and he's not Chris Jones, but you need to add some depth. I
was going to ask you about Leonard Taylor because I don't know a lot about him. I haven't did any evaluation on him. You happen to go in the first round. I think you're the first person I've seen this. What is it about him, and who is he? Kind of explain it to those viewers real quick.
Well, he went to University of Miami. He's a very good run player. He's not been a consistent pass rusher. He had 5.5 sacks this year, which is not bad for an interior defensive lineman. But he was like Miami's defense. They were up and down the whole year. But again, I think you need to add depth to that defensive line. That is the one spot. Chris Jones is probably out of Kansas City.
They
picked it up today. I do want to note they picked it up today. I believe his option.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Then
hey, viewers, we did these mock drafts at the beginning of this week.
I did mine Monday.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I was gonna give you a chance to like redraft there, Ray, and tell you before, just based on, but honestly, they could still go that route. I mean, there's no saying that you can't. And hey, like
here's the thing: if you want to get draft capital, or you could tag them and ship them, and you could get a lot. People banging down your door for Chris Jones, man. Let's just be honest about it.
True.
They bang your door down. I mean, next to the kid from the defensive tackle from the Rams, he's the best defensive tackle in football.
Donald.
Yeah, Aaron Donald. And honestly, he's younger than Aaron Donald, so he's probably worth more.
29. 29.
Right. So, I mean, like, you could get a king's ransom for this guy from the right team. Say Buffalo. Say Philadelphia right now, since their defensive tackle situation is not as good as it was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Definitely. But, yeah, I like it, man. So, that's going to conclude our first round mock draft, our first 1.0. Appreciate everybody that's been viewing. Before we get off, though, I know there's some prospects that we kind of wish was in the first round or we left out. Give me one or two from both of you guys. I'm going to start with you, Ray. One or two prospects that you left out that you're like, dang, man, I just could not fit them in the first.
I have one guy who I think that could be not that I think that he could have went in the first round, because I don't know if I only had 28 guys with first round draft grades this year completely, to be honest with you. So a couple of these guys that I took in the first round, I was like, But I mean, I like Chris Braswell, the edge rusher from Alabama. I think he's an underrated player.
Yeah.
I think not that he could have been a first round pick if he had more production. But again, it's kind of like the corner from Alabama, Arnold. They don't have a lot of reps, but the talent is there, man. So that's the problem with that.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you getting on.
Yes, absolutely. Xavier Worthy, wide receiver from Texas. I'm a fan.
I'm a Michigan fan. I don't even believe that. Come on, Drew. You left at a good time. You had to just drop that in. I don't even believe that. I love Corum. Don't get me wrong.
I love Blake Corum too, man, but he's a third round pick, dude.
Yeah, it's that. He might be a fourth round pick to me. I think he's in the fourth.
I like TJ Tampa from Iowa State too. He was a corner I thought in the right team, he could be a really nice old player.
What about you, Sam?
Yeah. TJ Tampa was actually one of my guys. I was kind of just going to list off there. I don't know. I was able to get a lot of my guys in. I think Darius Robinson's kind of a guy that I wish I would.
That's my guy.
Like, looking at where I drafted, like, I think it would be interesting to see him, like, maybe 16's a bit early, but like I probably like him going to Seattle would be interesting. I don't know. I think 19 to LA would be kind of a spot you might look at him there. Ricky Pearsall, I think if you're gonna have McConkey in there, I would trust Ricky's ceiling way higher than McConkey's. I think. I think Pearsall has more.
I hear you, but who fits that offense for?
Yeah,
and
he does.
He does. To the end of the second, so that's why I'm like, dude. Like, if they fall in love with McConkey, that's I think. That's the only way he will be a first round pick. That's literally in my mind the only way. I'm not high enough. You know that, Sam.
Yeah,
I
know.
I was just looking at I could see Jackson Powers going in the first round.
Yeah.
You didn't have Jackson.
I didn't have him in the first round. I could see him going the end of the first round for sure.
Yeah.
And I love McCaffrey's brother, man, as a slot receiver.
Luke?
I love that kid, man. I want Miami to get him in like the third or fourth round, dude.
Yep, that's a great.
I mean, if you have him playing in the slot inside, dude, with my outside speed, man, that would be a nice place.
Yeah.
That's the kind of blanket that Tua needs in the middle of the field.
And let me put out another name. Now, I don't think he's a first-round pick, I think he's a French first round pick because the wide receiver position is so deep.
It is
but
that.
A guy that I was telling Sam about, he's starting to get a lot of buzz lately, is Xavier Leggett. That man can run some routes for as big as he is. And I'm not saying he's going to run this. Somebody say he might run in the high in the 40s. I don't know how that. I got to see it first. I'm hearing some rumblings.
We all know this is the problem with evaluating right now. The times, the size, the speed, all of that is all bullcrap right now, man. Until it's confirmed through either their pro days or the combine. Correct. I don't believe any of it. You can't even believe how tall they are right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would say Leggett's shoulder was as big as my head though. He looked like an AJ Brown. Like I compare him to AJ Brown. That dude's body is crazy. He can definitely pause on that. He's definitely he could definitely get in and out of cuts like an AJ Brown. So I think he's a name that you guys definitely should like look into. Again, don't think he's a first round pick because there's a lot of receivers.
There is.
He's gonna be a guy.
Tez Walker too, maybe.
Tez, that speed. Tez might have hurt himself with all the drops though. I will.
Yeah.
He was dropping on a couple of, but when he gets the ball in his hand, he can get out there.
I think he's still second-ish.
Breland Allen, I like Breland Allen. He's a good running back.
Breland Allen a lot actually too. Again, we could go through any round from 1 to 4 and probably get good receivers.
Yeah, you're right.
You could.
But all right, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Thanks for Chris and Drew for being in the chat room. I know a lot of people can't be on this late, so if you're watching on the replay, definitely give us some love. Like and subscribe on our channel. We'll be having a couple more mock drafts. We'll be doing all draft coverage until the end of the season. With this right here, this is usually our college football podcast for everybody to know. Usually our college football podcast, but during the offseason, we get really heavy into the draft with this podcast. So we'll definitely be back on. We'll have Sam back on. We already have Lamarcus back on. Chris will he'll be back on. So again, we do appreciate you. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate you. See you next time, man. Anybody that is watching later on, definitely put a comment in our comment section. We will definitely answer any comments or hey, criticize us. I don't care. Say I did a terrible job with Bo Nix. That's fine. Yeah. Hey man, I love the Panther. I love the different opinions.
I think everybody thinks you did a bad job with Bo Nix.
That's fine. Let me know. Give me the hate. Bring it in, man. I like to debate it and I like to talk about it. So
Jerome, here's a good thing about the draft though. 3 years from now, Bo Nix is a good player. You'll be like, see?
Told you. I had it. It's on the podcast.
Here's the good thing about Jerome. I remember you said it too, okay, man?
I will too.
The fun thing is with me and Ray, we remember like what we say, like years. Like we've been doing this for like 5 years now, Ray? You remember everything we talked about. Like I'm like, yeah, Ray, you was on that guy. He's like, oh, you was on that one. Like we're real good with that. So yeah, man.
I tell people all the time. People tell me like I talk to like at work, like, oh, you couldn't be a GM. I never said I could be a GM, man. I never, because I'm not a lawyer. I don't write contracts, man. I don't. But do I think I could evaluate talent? I think honestly, not only could I evaluate talent, I know enough people, including you two guys, where I can go out and hire. I could hire 6 guys that could be scouts right now, with no problem, without a doubt.
Definitely.
I mean, and honestly, could we do better than any worse than they do in the NFL right now?
Probably not.
I mean, I don't think we could, dude. I'd be like, all I hear is, oh, you're 50-50. If you're drafting players and you hit 50-50 with your first and second round players, I'm looking for a new GM. I'm sorry, man. 50-50 from rounds 4 on, or even 30-70, yeah, that's fine. 50-50 the first and second rounds, dude. Come on, man.
Got hit a little bit.
Maybe you draft 4 guys in the first, 2, 3, 4 rounds, and 2 are good. Okay, but 50-50 every year? Come on.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, thank you guys for getting on, man. Hope you're not 50-50 with us. We want you to be 100%. So that's going to do it for us today, guys. Again, this is the RPO College Football Podcast, sponsored by Inside the Hashes. Make sure you go check out all our great stuff. We got a lot of interviews with a lot of players from the Senior Bowls, so that's all on our channel as well. We're going to be having a lot of players come on and stuff like that as well. Me and Sam will be doing a lot of interviews, so make sure you check it out for all the future NFL players. So, again, I'm Jerome Jones, Ray Roberts on there, Sam right there, Kurt. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.